Silent Hill F may be the scariest game in the 26-year-old series, or at least the first one rated 18 plus in Japan. Silent Hill F, the latest mainline game in the series, is the first in the franchise's history to be rated 18 plus in Japan, which is especially wild because they've often been adult-only in the UK and US. As reported by Automaton, Silent Hill F has been rated 0Z, Japan's equivalent of an 18-plus rating. All of the other mainline games have been rated 0C in Japan, or 15+. I'm quite surprised, because I've always known the games to be absolutely terrifying, so I assumed they'd also be rated for adults in Japan. Horror movies and games from Japan are very popular all over the world, from games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil to movies like Ring and The Grudge, so maybe Japan's ratings board just has a higher tolerance for scares. Or maybe they aren't gory enough to warrant the adults-only rating. It could be that Silent Hill F is just more violent, not necessarily scarier. That being said, Silent Hill F looks especially scary to me. I'm terrified of human-like monsters that move in contorted ways, and that's the first kind of creature that shows up in the game's trailer. Original series monster designer Masahiro Ito, the man who created Pyramid Head, didn't work on this game at all though. He says, "I don't know anything ABT Silent Hill F because I didn't work on it." Silent Hill F is also unique in its setting. It takes place in the 60s and even comes with a warning. This game is set in Japan in the 1960s and contains depictions based on the customs and culture of that time. Konami's disclaimer reads, "These depictions do not reflect the opinions or values of the developers or any individuals involved." It also warns of depictions of gender discrimination, child abuse, bullying, drug-induced hallucinations, torture, and graphic violence. That 18-plus rating doesn't seem so surprising anymore. Silent Hill F writer Ryukishi07 said, "I don't think I would mind if it was the last thing I ever wrote. So this really is shaping up to be a messed up game." It's important to note that games can and do have their ratings changed before release, and even after. It happened with Balatro. So, there's a chance this rating drops if Konami appeals the decision or makes some changes to make it more suitable for a younger audience. Silent Hill F has been rated by the ESRB in the US, and the rating summary is one of the most explicit and intense I've ever seen. In case you missed it, the new Silent Hill F cinematic trailer gives a sneak preview of some of the abominations the hapless protagonist Hinako will have to face off against. The trailer had some of the most unsettling creatures I've ever seen in the Silent Hill series' long history. But this ESRB rating summary suggests it was just a taster of the full meal. It's worth noting here that some of these details are very specific and could be considered to be spoiler territory if you're wanting to go into Silent Hill F completely blind. If that's you, turn back now. With that out of the way, here we go. The ESRB says Silent Hill F has scenes where enemy attacks result in the player character getting impaled in the neck and are getting their faces ripped apart. Meanwhile, cutscenes sometimes depict gore and more intense acts of violence. A character burned alive inside a cage, a woman branded by a hot iron, entrails and sinew displayed on serving platters in fantastical celebration/ceremony, a character sawing off her own arm, a character slicing off portions of a character's face during a ritual. It's worth noting that Silent Hill F was also recently rated in Japan, and it's the first game in the series' 26-year-old history to be rated 18+ in Japan. Meanwhile, its Steam disclaimer is making even the most hardened horror hound shudder, advising players to please take a break if they feel uncomfortable playing the game. This all suggests a darker, grittier, gorier game than the dark, gritty, and gory Silent Hill games from the past.